The third act of Tunic takes a hard left away from the Zelda art Foxvania Souls-like you began with and turns into Sunday morning Sudoku mixed with World War II code breaking. Okay, so the puzzles aren't quite as hard as all that, but some of these do represent quite a stiff challenge. In this video, we are going to break down how to solve the game's main puzzles to be able to unlock its true ending and its most deeply hidden secrets. Looking at the puzzle solutions now, I would say they are hard but fair. I'm going to start explaining them with foundational hints and then quickly progress to giving the full solution and the answer code. So, if you are working through this and just want a hint to get you going in the right direction, be ready to pause the video quickly if you get a shot of inspiration. There are two main puzzles that lead to unlocking the game's true ending, and then a third major puzzle that has a more Easter eggy payoff. I'm going to show that third one at the end. Right now we are going to focus on unlocking the game's true ending. When we beat the game's final boss, the Air, we see credits roll, but we also get a game over screen and a note on how many pages of the game manual we are missing. This tells us to get the true ending of the game, we have to collect every single page of the manual. Now, most of these are just lying around in the world, waiting for you to unlock the movement abilities to get to where they are and pick them up, but the first and last pages are hidden behind significant puzzles. One of these is the door in the mountains, and the other is the fairies and the secret gathering place. These two can be solved independently of each other, so we're going to talk fairies first. There are 20 of these little guys locked behind mini puzzles in the world, and once you rescue 10 of them, they will give us one of the manual pages we need. Now, doing all of the fairy challenges will unlock an achievement, but that is playing more into the Glyph tower that we're going to talk about later. We get a list of the general locations of the fairies on page 48, and Tunic will helpfully mark off the ones that we've already found with a little X. To be able to more accurately pinpoint the fairies' locations, we can cast the Seeking spell here by using this specific pattern. Using the arrow keys or the D-pad, you can enter this code at any time, and Tunic will launch 3 little motes of light, which will shoot off in the direction of the nearest secret as long as you are reasonably close to one. The lights will continue to hone in around your secret. You can keep on recasting as much as you want. There is no currency or cooldown for the spell, and this should guide you to all of the secrets that you need to find within the game. Remember that sometimes the game likes to hide secrets beyond other secret rooms, so don't just stop as soon as you find a chest hidden behind an empty pathway. Keep on pursuing your path, and you can find all of the great secrets that have been hidden away. Using the arrow keys to trace out a path like this is called making the sign of the Holy Cross, and is hinted at a few times in the manual. A large dot usually shows the starting point of the path, and then you simply need to tap out the directions needed to follow the path to the end point, remembering that when there is a hash mark over the path, you have to repeat the input that you used to travel in that direction. Most of these puzzles are very straightforward, while some are going to require pen, paper, and a little bit of ingenuity. What's going to be consistent across all of the fairy mini puzzles is that you're looking for a path you have to trace out, though that path can be depicted in a lot of different ways. There are a few that like to use flowers to be able to depict the path. You start at the large bloom, and then you need to connect the dots of all the tiny little white flowers to be able to show your path. At other times, you're going to be looking at a pattern of bricks on the ground or cracks in the wall. And most common of all is an explicit path pattern shown somewhere within the background animations of your level. Once we have freed 10 of the fairy souls, then we are able to head to the secret gathering place to be able to claim our page of the manual. Now, there is a fairy soul who can be freed from the secret gathering place itself, so the Seeking spell will help you find this location, but because it's so important, I'm going to show an easy way to be able to get back to it. As we run along the river here, we're able to go on up across the bridge, and then right behind this waterfall, we reach the secret gathering place. The key to free the fairy soul here is that you are looking at the same path depicted on all of the walls, so while it is obstructed on one side, you're able to fill in what you are missing if you look to another wall. And then once you have the 10 souls, you can go to this font in the middle, you're able to see your grand total, and once you've hit 10, then you will be gifted with the final page of the manual, the back cover, and page 54, an extension of the memo section, and giving us additional support and secrets, but we're going to talk about that more as we get to the Glyph Tower and the final puzzle at the end of the video. Right now, we need to cover the door in the mountains, and man, this one is a stumper. The key to be able to solve the door in the mountains is on page 49, with an important clue placed on page 22, where if we zoom in here, we see a number with the same border like all the numbers in the collection on page 49, and it shows that it is indicating a page number for a page in the manual. You can go ahead and put away your Sudoku manual now, because beyond these numbers referencing other pages in the manual, they don't mean anything. Moving forward, hint by hint, we know that we are looking to use the power of the Holy Cross and traverse the golden path. Here on page 49, we see that our path is starting off the page and then is going up into page 12. If we closely examine all of these pages, they all have something in common. They all have a golden path marked somewhere on the page. Now, these path markings don't have any set beginning or end points, so now we need to figure out what to do with all of these path codes. If we were to look at any of the pages that are marked on the outside border of this set of pages, we would see that their paths would never conflict with running off of the page. And if we were to examine a few that are adjacent to each other, 2 and 4 here are going to be very easy to reference because they're right next to each other. They're also next to each other in the booklet. On page 2, we see that we have this path within the candle going up and then back down. And then page 4, if we zoom in here, we get the path here where it comes in from off the page and then runs up, and then it cuts off, and then it comes back down and runs to the side, meaning that if we were to actually place these side by side, they would connect and they would run into each other like a puzzle piece. So that's right, all of these golden path portions run into each other continuously to snake around the page and bring us to the largest golden path that we have ever seen in the game. The path will loop around and around until we get to page 9. And here we have a loop thrown at us by the developers because there is no golden path that you can find that's worth following here on the page. To be able to find the golden path portion that corresponds to this page, we're going to follow the blue arrows and text here. So we are going to quit out to the main menu, go to load game, save data, select one of our saves, and then we get this mini options. So we've got load, delete, and then we're going to drop down to cancel, and we're going to cut back here, and that will give us a new save file just created. I have already done this, and you can't delete the save file and repeat the process to get it back. It will always be there when you go down to load game, but I'm going to walk you through the steps that it takes to be able to get it. So we quit out to the main screen, we go to load game, and then you would hover over your file, and then you would drop down to cancel, and then this would appear. My understanding is this is bugged on the Game Pass version of the game. Not sure if they've been able to patch it yet. I'm sure a patch will be coming soon, but in case it is bugged, then you might be watching this video, and we're going to give you the solution to be able to give you this piece of what you need. Loading into this file, then we get a new color of Tunic, and we're walking around in a completely different view along a very conspicuous golden path here. We can follow this golden path all around, and there is a hash mark here for those of you who are writing this down. And as we loop around, then we will eventually come to an end screen where we will load right back in where we began. You can mess around here and run the loop all you want, but this is all you get. This is the portion of the golden path that you need to be able to complete the code to the door in the mountains. Loading back to our main save with that code written down or memorized, we will see that page 9 runs directly into page 55, which is the very back of the manual, and here we see nothing new added on to the code. It's just a straight line leading into our desired endpoint. So here is the full path in all of its glory with all the pages pasted next to each other. This is an image created courtesy of Tobias Amaranth on the Reddit. And here is the raw code in its 100 character long glory. Oh my gosh, what a doozy. So go back to the door at the mountains, stand on the steps, enter in this code, and watch the door dissolve away. You can then ascend to the very peak to be able to pick up the final page we need of the manual. Here we get the front cover of the instruction booklet, and then the inside of the front cover has a lovely letter from the developers. There's actually a secret down here. You will unlock a postscript if you decide to stand in the water for 60 seconds and then take a peek at this page. But here they also say, if this is your final page, you should pay a visit to a certain someone and share your wisdom. Let me know in the comments how you guys think this game's puzzles stack up to the most memorable puzzles that you have solved in any video game. With the full manual complete, we can go back to the air and we will trigger a new cutscene and unlock the game's true ending. If this video was helpful for you, then leave a like to help promote it within the YouTube algorithm, but don't leave just yet. Remember at the beginning I said that there was a third puzzle? Well, this one is even harder than what we have seen so far, so let's get into it. This puzzle is the Glyph Tower, and once again, as we exit out of our house and then cut around, if we go back to page 22, which was so helpful to us earlier in cracking the code for the door in the mountains, we see there's a number of scribbles right here with a bunch of different things being indicated here. Holy Cross, it's showing that you can use the Holy Cross to be able to open the doors that are over here. I've already opened it, but this one had a code that you would be able to crack open to be able to get through and find a secret there. Also here, this is indicating that if you sleep in the bed in the house, then you're able to transition between day and night and the ghost and waking worlds, which is really useful because in the ghost world, different paths are available to you, and also sometimes the other spectral foxes will give you hints on the different puzzles. Finally, though, we have this trophy indicator right here, and we see that from this room, there is a secret passage leading into our trophy case. Now, this room will contain 12 pedestals, and all of these trophies are connected to the platinum boxes that you may have found or may not have even seen up to this point. These puzzles do not necessarily have the same foundation of looking for a path that you need to find a trace out. Now, some of them will, but they are a little bit more convoluted than that. If we open up the manual and then flip to that final memo page, we are able to see our trophy room represented here with these 12 spaces and then a number of numbers inked in. These numbers refer to other pages in the manual once again, but these pages in the manual give you hints on how to unlock these different trophies. The 4 skull trophy here that I'm standing next to serves as an easy example. If we look down here, we want to go to page 39. Which is a map of the area, and then if we zoom in, we see inked in the exact same pen markings is a skull X4. When you make it to this portion of the map during the daytime, there are going to be 4 golden skulls in a little puddle that you need to push them in, and then you'll get your platinum box. And then here on page 41, as another example, we see penned in is a arrow indicating a secret path away from the teleporter hub world that will again lead you to a trophy. Now, a key traversal trick for a lot of these puzzles is to use the freezing bomb that will then freeze enemies, and when you rope towards them, rather than pulling the enemy towards you, you will shoot towards the enemy, and this is very useful for being able to reach extremely hard to get to areas and traverse areas very quickly. As specific callouts, this is how you get a trophy that is right here within the Eastern Forest region. And it is also how you can get into the swamp/old burying ground in the daytime without the spirit realm paths getting you in there. Once you have found 6 of the 12 trophies, then you get this glowing orb in the middle and you are able to enter into it and be teleported away to Glyph Tower. At this location, we see these strange glowing statues all along the outside of the tower, and if we use the D-pad or the arrow keys to mark the sign of the cross, we see these glyphs appear in front of their glowing foreheads. Oh man, this has to be one of the coolest visuals in the entire game. To be able to understand how to progress from here, we've got additional support and secrets, unfortunately, written in the game's glyphs. So yes, to be able to go on from here, you're going to have to decipher and translate what is written here. The translation reads: 1. Find some rare golden statues. 2. Traverse the glow to visit 12 strange beings. 3. Unsing to them the greatest song, the Song of the Golden Path, as seen from within. The key here is understanding the difference between making the sign of the cross, indicating little puzzles with the arrow keys, and specifically the golden path. Now, the sign of the cross is used to do any of these mini puzzles, but the golden path is specifically referring to the monstrous 100 character code we use to open the door in the mountains. This means that we are working with the exact same code and we have to figure out how to unsing it as seen from within. The answer is to fully reverse this and turn it inside out. What you're doing is you are following it from the center outwards, but you are also mirroring and flipping the path, or you are inverting it along the z-axis, to say it in another way. Here's the code that you have to enter in. Now, these glyphs that we will read starting directly south from the entrance that we get to the tower, they will read, "Do you fear the eyes of the far shore.com." That will take us to this website right here, where we get this ominous animation and garbled soundbite. Now, we can go further down the rabbit hole by downloading the audio file that is playing over this website. We get a comment on that file from the developer saying, "Thank you for playing." And a Twitch streamer, Angrival, went even farther by placing the audio into a spectrum analyzer, and with some tweaks was able to get a visualization from within the audio of even more glyphs. These translate to, "We are the eyes of the far shore." Is there even more to this puzzle that we are missing, or is this referencing a DLC that we'll be getting for Tunic? Is this referencing a sequel we will be getting for Tunic? Let me know down in the comments. The game has certainly been well received, and for an indie game and an indie game studio, a breakout success, so DLC coming down the line would be a very welcome thing to see, as well as, of course, a sequel focusing more on these mysterious beings. Stay tuned for more Tunic content on the channel, and if you enjoyed the video, then show some support through likes, comments, and subscribing. Till next time, thank you guys for watching, and have a good one.